Ticket-till-show now.
It's live with Kelly and Mark. Today from the drama Citadel, Priyanka, Chopra, Jonas. Plus, one of the stars of the new film, Peter Pan and Wendy, Anderson. Also, our Spring has Sprung week continues with spring fashion trends. All next on Live. And now, here are Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Okay. We haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Good morning. It's April 27th, 2023.
April is flying by.
Yes.
Flying by.
And it did fly by. We got the man cub home last night.
Oh, yes.
Our little guy, who's not so little.
The newborn baby came home from college.
He finished his second year of college. He's technically, if he shows up in September, a junior in college.
What do you mean if he shows up in
Well,
September?
you know, anything can
Have
happen.
you been talking? Have you been talking behind my back?
Listen, it can go either way. You know, those kids change their minds from moment to moment.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was so nice
To
have him home.
So nice.
The dogs were excited. You were excited.
Oh my gosh, we came home. Joaquin came home. I went to the eye doctor, and Joaquin came home like, what, a minute before I did?
Yes.
Or like 2 minutes before I did. So the dog, Lena, the little one, didn't know what to do. She was just like, oh my gosh. Joaquin
Vibrating.
is home,
She's
vibrating, like running in a circle, yelping. And then I walked in and she was like, oh my God, and you came back too?
It's nice, right? The dogs, they don't know how long you've been gone. It feels like an eternity to them. They're so happy to see you. But Joaquin comes home from Michigan. It's Ann Arbor. It's not a sleepy town, but it's a small town compared to New York.
Yeah.
And then we said, come out to dinner with us tonight. We had a nice dinner party to go to. And so we walked to dinner and we showed up to this our friend Mark and Keith's house. And there was really fancy people there. We don't really go to fancy parties. We don't do that.
We never leave the house.
Yeah.
And we said, come out to dinner with us, because he hasn't seen Mark and Keith in a long time. Come out to dinner. It's just going to be the tiniest group. We show up. It is like it's like a proper dinner party. And it's so like elegant. And then there's us, right? And then there's Joaquin, who hasn't been out. Like, he's like a feral child at this point. He's been living with 3 other wrestlers. So it's 4 wrestlers in one little apartment. And what was so funny was, as we were walking there, he goes, boy, it's really far. I go,
it's $10.
It's 10 blocks. It's not really far at all. It's 10 blocks.
We're walking it.
And he said, well, you know, this seems far. This seems very far. And then when we were walking home, you know, the rodents come out at night. You know what I mean? And our big, brave son, who lives with 3 other wrestlers, you know,
these little mice.
These little tiny mice.
Like this big.
And he is almost sleeping into my arms, right? Almost. Like, Mom!
And I got to tell you, I was right behind him. Because we like to protect Kelly when we're walking on the street. One's on her left, one's on her right.
Protect me from what?
You know, it's the mean streets of New York. Madison Avenue is very dangerous. Very dangerous. And so we're like these big, tough guys. We're trying to protect Kelly. And we see, I haven't seen a mouse this small in such a long time. Usually you see
I thought
rats.
it was a cockroach.
I thought it was a cockroach. I've seen cockroaches bigger than this mouse.
These were mice that were so tiny. They were hatchlings. They were hatchling mice. You know, they were born.
But they're very darty. It's very unsettling.
Well, you guys were certainly brave.
You were on your own. If those mice came after
What's
you.
interesting is that the 2 of you chose to run into the street. So they're going to take their chance against an MTA bus rather than the mouse that I thought
was a cockroach.
Then this
These
mouse.
were mice that were so tiny. They were hatchlings. They were hatchling mice. You know, they were born.
But they're very darty. It's very unsettling.
Well, you guys were certainly brave.
You were on your own. You were on your own if those mice came after
What's
you.
interesting is that the two of you chose to run into the street. So they're going to take their chance against an MTA bus rather than the mouse that I thought was a cockroach.
Yep. Really, really small. But what a nice night. What a nice New York night. I like that.
Yeah,
I'd like
great.
to do that.
It was great
Hey,
fun.
big night for New York also. Big night for you. The Knicks. The Knicks.
This is the part where I clap and I don't know what's going on.
The first time in 10 years that they have advanced to the second round.
It's funny how when there's a little mouse running around, both the men, especially the husband, gets scared and runs to the wife for protection to protect him from the 4-gram mouse. But when it comes to a trivia contest, anything that involves no threat of violence, physical violence, you sit there and you put your foot down and you demand that you're the man of the house that's going to make the final decision. But when there's an insect or an animal, you expect her to be the guardian of the fucking galaxy, the guardian of the familiar galaxy. Put in the comments, did I say that right?
The first time in 10 years that they have advanced to the second round. So they're making it to the second round, and they're going to go against the Miami Heat. Wow. The Miami Heat are hot. They weren't supposed to win. They were like a 8 seed or 6 seed or something like that, and they beat the number 1 seed, 5 seed, number 1 seed. They beat the Bucks.
Is it seed or seat?
Seed.
Seed.
D with a D. With a D.
Seed. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is it seed?
I don't know. Good question.
What seed? What rank? Yeah. I don't know. That's the word.
Can we get the word, like the
definition.
origin
It's a
of that
fucking
word?
seed.
Yeah,
Like what you plant in a uterus.
Seed. What rank? Yeah. I don't know. That's the word.
Can we get the word, like the
definition of the
origin
word
of that
seed?
word?
Yeah.
Because I always,
let's get the origin
I
of
always
that
thought it
seed.
was seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were seated 12th,
It makes sense.
right?
That makes sense.
Because when you're not playing, you're seated.
Right.
Doesn't that make sense to you? Thank you very much.
But the Knicks can't be stopped. You know, it's tough to be a Knicks fan, I hear. It's tough. They let you, they bring you to the brink, and then they break your heart. But that's what's so great.
You're the mother of a collegiate athlete. You should start to learn these things. What are you going to do when you're cheering for Michigan basketball and they're in the NCAA tournament?
Years that they have
You're going to
advanced
sit there, go to one of your elegant parties and say, I'm so excited for the Wolverines of Ann Arbor. Yes, they're in the 4th seat. Oh, are they sitting here at the table? Which one? Is it the table of Sir Lansing?
second round. So they're making it to the second round, and they're going to go against the Miami Heat. Wow. The Miami Heat are hot. They weren't supposed to win. They were like a 8 seed or 6 seed or something like that, and they beat the number 1 seed, 5 seed, number 1 seed. They beat the Bucks.
Is it seed or seat?
Seed.
Seed.
D with a D. With a D.
Seed. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is it
Seeded.
seed?
I don't know. Good question.
What seed? What rank? Yeah. I don't know. That's
Can we
the word.
Can we get the word, like the
definition of the
origin
word
of that
seed?
word?
Yeah.
Because I always,
Yeah, let's get the origin
I
of
always
that
thought it
seed.
was seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
no.
seated 12th,
It makes sense.
right?
That makes sense.
Because when you're not playing, you're seated.
Right.
Doesn't that make sense to you? Thank you very much.
But the Knicks can't be stopped.
What do? You write the scores on the side of the paper? Guess I didn't waste your time.
Thank you very much.
But the Knicks can't be stopped.
Look at this. He writes the scores. Either Mark writes the scores on his paper, so that way it's like, look, anyone who wants to read the paper, sometimes they just want to know the score. And they don't have to. I save them time so they don't have to open it up and go fiddle and spend 2 minutes looking through, the pages, and you can just look at the scores here. Or someone that works at Live basically wrote little bullet points and little side notes. and just basically said, hey, look, here's some notes for you because you didn't watch the game, but you're going to pretend like you did. And so here's the scores just for you to say instead of using the teleprompter.
You know, it's tough to be a Knicks fan, I hear. It's tough. They let you, they bring you to the brink, and then they break your heart. But that's what's so great about it.
And it's also great to be a New York sports fan because no matter what, you're gonna get your fair share of good and bad press in the press. You have to be a strong.
To be a player in this market,
yes,
for sure. The pressure is very hard, very, very hard.
I always talk about when Willie Randolph went to what was the team he went? The baseball team.
The Mets?
No, not the Mets. After the Mets, he went to
the Milwaukee Brewers.
The Milwaukee Brewers, and he said that if one of their players struck out, the fans still cheered for them, and he was like, "No, we don't." He was like such a New York guy that he's like,
"What do you do?
What's all this cheering for somebody that just struck out?"
Congratulations are in order. Again, yesterday they released the initial list of Emmy Awards. You and Ryan were nominated. That was yesterday. Yeah. And then yesterday,
Ryan texted me a congratulations, and after you do the show, you immediately put the show out of your mind so you can focus on the next show. You don't sort of hang on to what happened. And he congratulated me, and I said, "For what?"
You've forgotten. Right. But the show was also nominated. Congratulations, Michael. You worked hard on that. The staff all worked hard on this show, and you guys as the host are awesome.
Who are we up against?
Everyone. You're up against the whole slate. Do you want to know who you're up against? Everyone. You're up against the whole slate. Do you want to know who you're up against?
Well, it doesn't look good for us.
Yeah, it doesn't look
We haven't been an Emmy favorite, but we're a ratings favorite.
I think you guys, you guys are a number.
We may not be the show of the Emmy voter, but we're the show of the people.
That's right. That's right. And there's
number one entertainment.
There's 5 shows. There's 5 shows nominated, and I'd say you guys are the number 5 seed.
I have the seed information there, by the way.
You have to
Tell us. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I want to know because
the origins of seeding. This is referring to tennis, but started off in tennis tournaments in the late 1900s with the idea of being that spreading around the most skilled players in a tournament was akin to sowing the seeds in a field or a garden. Okay, that's from the Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for asking.
I knew it started from tennis. It all comes from tennis. I knew Gelman would be interested in that.
I still prefer seating. Because when you're not playing, it's where you are.
You like to sit.
Right?
So, kudos. Who knew that Gelman was more than just a useless, white, skinny guy sitting in a chair sucking money for basically punching numbers and telling people what to do?
So there's really terrible news this morning that I read, and it's something that your dad has been saying since, for the 2.5 decades that I've known him, almost 3 decades that I've known your dad, he has been saying this. We're actually older than we think we are. Yeah. Like a full year older.
This is horrible news.
Yes.
Horrible news.
So they're saying that this started on TikTok. It didn't. It started with my father-in-law a long time ago.
Right. I know what you're saying.
So when you are celebrating your, let's say your 29th birthday, let's just say you're celebrating your 29th birthday, It's actually already happened. You have just completed your 29th year. So you are in your 30th year.
That's what he would always say.
He kept, remember when we were planning his birthday,
Yes.
and he goes, I'm already 80. And I said, no, your 80th birthday is on October 29th. He goes, I am finishing my 80th year. I am heading into 81. I go, you can call it whatever you want. The cake is going to have 80 candles and a fire extinguisher.
It's funny he did that because this year I started saying that I was a year older or had 6 months left, but I was like, I'm 52. And you remind me, you're not 52.
I kept saying you are 51 until you turn 52.
And I think it's my father's influence on me.
You think?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel 52?
No.
What age do you feel?
25.
You look funny. You look
Emotionally. Emotionally, I'm probably just turning 25.
Really?
Yeah. You know, you become sane after 25.
Really?
The brain forms.
The brain forms
Fully
You're
formed
lucky.
brain.
at 25.
You know when you look at your kids and you say, "Why did you do that? Are you insane?" And they actually they're yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
you mean like
youth.
Medically, they're not considered fully formed until
That's
they
correct.
reach the age
So
of
I'm
25.
I'm in my 25th year.
Ah.
Would you say that's an accurate description of how I'm doing
Yes,
emotionally?
I always find you with the kids hanging out, and I walk in and they like put their phones away, and I'm like, yes, all of you and the other kids in our house.
We're plotting against you.
And I go, what are you talking about? They're like, nothing. You wouldn't get it.
Kid stuff.
It's just kid stuff. Yeah, I feel like I was born the age I am.
An old soul?
I wouldn't say an old soul. I would say I was born a middle-aged soul.
Yeah, but then your medical age, you know.
My medical age is very young. My what is it? Metabolic age?
Yeah, go by those charts.
Yes, biological age versus your numeric age.
Right.
Yeah.
According to my doctor, biologically, I'm young,
You're 20.
very young.
Good.
Yay me! But
You're like a little
emotionally,
spring chicken.
I am definitely on the older side.
Yeah, I would say that.
But I get that from
So your numerical age is 52. Biologically, meaning healthy, you have the body and the fitness and the health of maybe a 30 to 35-year-old. Let's say a 35-year-old, right? Which is very good for someone your age. But emotionally and like your soul, as we say, you're almost 75 years old. So that means you're gonna so that means when your body, your insides are that of a 60-year-old, you're gonna feel like a 120-year-old woman. You're just gonna be this girl, like, speed walking in Central Park crying for no reason.
But emotionally, I am definitely on the older side.
Yeah, I would say that.
But I get that from my dad.
Yes, you do.
My dad was, it's so funny. My dad, like, now that he's 84, I feel like the other 84-year-olds have caught up to him because he was like 84 at 40.
He's looked the same since I've known him.
It's fascinating.
He's looked
isn't it?
like that. I wouldn't say he looks 84, but he looks exactly the same. He hasn't changed a bit.
He has not aged at all, but he definitely, I would say, looks in his 80s. But
Yeah.
he hasn't aged at all in 40 years.
But he's
Do you know what I mean?
He's very with it, and he's very sharp, and
Yeah.
I would say he's decades younger in that way.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely with it, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to go to this article because I don't know how to feel about it because
Tell me.
I'm looking at the photo. I can't relate to it at all. But they're saying that big butts. You know how big butts became like the thing where everybody was like enhancing their butts.
Brazilian butt lift. Yeah.
The BBL, Gelman. Brazilian butt lift. Some people accuse Gelman of having.
everyone's starting to get their butt lifts taken out. It's no longer a trend. It's becoming a fad.
Brazilian butt lift. Some people accuse Gelman of having had that procedure. I don't know.
Rumors. It's just good working out. Yeah.
It's good working out. You say, some people say maybe there's cosmetic enhancements. They're saying that there's a butt lift reversal.
A trend. Yeah.
The butt lift reversals are booming as big booties go out of fashion. So I guess
What does that entail?
I don't know. I don't know.
Doesn't
I just let mine drop naturally and it stayed there. So yay, I'm back in fashion.
No, they would inject fat and
they dissolve it. They kind of have to dissolve
They would put in fat and put in implants, and now people are having it all taken out.
So they take the fat out of other parts of your body.
I got it.
They enlarge your buttocks. And now they're
Dissolving it.
Now they're dissolving it and removing, and now they're removing the butt implants.
That's fascinating.
Scary.
Scary. Well, it's not scary. I just think, I mean, to me, it sounds like a big.
Would you do something like that?
Would I do?
Would you do the big butt thing?
You tell me.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like there's so many other places I'd rather put implants. If I had the time and energy.
I agree.
I mean,
I don't agree that you should do that, but I agree. No, stop it. I did not say anything. I just agree because she's my wife.
No, right. You agree with me no matter what.
I don't even know how to segue from this. From big booties. But I saw a fascinating documentary over the weekend.
About implants?
About implants. No, it's from the Academy Award-winning director Oliver Stone.
Oh.
It's called Nuclear Now, and it's rediscovering or re-examining the use of nuclear energy to combat the climate crisis.
Oh.
And when we were growing up, you know, during the
nuclear is a very scary
thing.
Yeah, scary
thing. But it's thought provoking. It's in theaters tomorrow in LA and New York, and go see it.
Cool.
Yeah.
You liked it.
I liked it. It was very thought provoking.
Did it cover like the kids of our generation?
It did, because you know when we were growing up, you know we
had nuclear drills.
Nuclear drills.
Do you remember the nuclear drills where they would teach you to hide under your desk?
The bombs.
The bombs.
Yes.
Yes.
No, not nuclear energy, but when I hear that word, it conjures up.
But that's the point of the movie too, is that they're two very different things, and that's why they've been grouped together, and that's why we're so scared of it.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'll go. When do you see all these movies behind my back? We've got a big show today. Priyanka Chopra, Jonas is here.
Yeah. And from Peter Pan and Wendy, Ever Anderson is here.
Spring has sprung with continues with a look at spring fashion trends. As you can tell, we're all about our spring fashion trends in my black jumpsuit.
What time is it?
You tell me.
It's time for Live's Grow Sport Spring Trivia.
Todo gente, todo gente, todo gente, todo gente, peanut butter and jelly.
That was our trivia dancer, Ludi Riley from California. Get it, Ludi?
Get it, Ludi. Let's say hello to Christine Early from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, who watches us on KXLY. I want to go there.
I've always wanted to go to Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Christine.
Is it pronounced Coeur d'Alene or Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene. Yes,
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene.
and you do need to come visit. It's very beautiful here. You'd love it.
I know, that's
Yeah.
what everybody says.
All right, we're gonna play a little game. The game is you've given us two statements. One's true, one's false. We got to pick the one that's true. If you stump us, you get this Kelly Mark mug.
Now you be nice, Mark.
Yeah.
I gotta come to Idaho. We got a lot of rich people that tour
want you
that
to
visit
be
here.
Mark.
This is just a fun game. It's just a fun game. Big prize is at the end, okay? All right, so her first statement is, we went to Disneyland Paris, or I went parasailing on the Hudson River.
I gotta say, I like to play on words. Parasailing, Disney Paris, the Paris. Maybe I would have said, look, I went to Disneyland Paris, or I went inside Paris, Hilton at Disney World. I'm going to say, what is more likely? Right off the bat, put in the comment section, parasailing on the Hudson or Disneyland Paris. Well, this is just a blind guess. I'm going to say she went to Disneyland Paris. I have no idea why someone from Idaho would go parasailing on the Hudson River. I've never known the Hudson River to be a place where there's a lot of recreational boat activities. Put it in the section.
And Paris, or I went parasailing on the Hudson River.
I don't even know how to begin. Okay, tell me about the big takeaway from Disneyland Paris. What's the headline?
Ooh.
It was fun, beautiful, and we had a great time.
Did you? Could you drink there?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. That's a good question.
I know what you're doing.
No.
Continue.
No, I really don't
Continue. I know what you're doing.
Okay, let's talk about parasailing.
I don't know. You got to say, like, well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't drink there, but I never attempted to drink. So that's a good question. I would assume that if adults want to drink alcohol, they can. I don't know why Disneyland would say no alcohol is allowed, but I personally did it, and I didn't ask. But I'm very confident, sure you can, but that's a good question. But I'll say, yes, you can, but I never asked.
No.
Continue.
He thinks that she's trying to trick him with the whole reverse psychology, and this is where he gets into his, oh, you won't fool me. You're trying to play dumb. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you can. Thinking that I'm going to say, oh, you, like, if you were trying to fool us, you would just make up an answer. But since she's being so honest, that's obviously the correct answer. You went to Disneyland Paris because you were just so honest. I don't know. If you were lying, you would make up something. So then I'm going to guess that Disneyland Paris is the truth when it was false and you planned this ahead of time.
Continue. I know what you're doing.
Okay, let's talk about parasailing on the Hudson River. How? Why?
Because it was free?
Well, I was scared of heights,
Okay.
Okay, that's.
but my crazy husband decided he wanted to go parasailing, and we were there for our anniversary trip. So I'm like, why not?
I feel like I need a 4-minute follow-up.
We don't have it.
I have never.
Your husband wanted to take you for your third wedding anniversary to the Hudson River?
Trip. So I'm like, why not?
Why do I have I mean, I'm not a native New Yorker, but the reputation that I have gotten from the Hudson River is that it is a dirty river with sewer water and feces and like fish you don't want to catch and eat. Am I right?
I feel like I need a 4-minute follow-up.
We don't have it.
I have never seen that, ever. Did you get wet, Christine?
Yes, of course.
She's trying to beat me my own game. Yes, she's good. She's good. She's good. No, you take a guess. It's Thursday.
Did you get
It's Thursday. You
pregnant?
take a guess.
I truly am I don't know. I'm going to guess, because I don't think this is true, but I'm going to guess that you went parasailing on the Hudson River.
Nope.
Oh, shit. Well, in case you couldn't deduce, I didn't make the guess, but I was going to say that I think that Mark would have thought that Disneyland Paris is the lie. But I think it was the opposite. I think she honestly just didn't know, but she intentionally said, I don't know. Good question. That was intentional, but it wasn't like premeditated to throw him off. I think she went to Paris and she just didn't know. And she decided to be honest instead of, she made a conscious choice. It wasn't an accidental slip. But he thought that was a lie and she was trying to set him up. And he would have guessed this and been wrong. And she guessed that knowing it was wrong. So they worked out. I personally think, what did I guess? I guess the Paris seems more right. But after she said that, I thought that was true also. So we all three agree.
It's just impossible. That is impossible. I mean, she would have hit a bridge.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
There are so many things you would get tangled up in.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's legal.
It's
It
not.
is definitely not legal.
Just for the record, Christine, this does not go against my win-loss record. Because I knew exactly what you were doing, and you're good. You're good. You're playing. I don't know what Disneyland Paris was like. She knew what she'd been to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, and everybody knows.
Yeah, but she could have been to Disneyland Paris and not known whether you could drink there or not. That's very, very, that's like saying I was at Disney World. They asked, oh, are you allowed to smoke cigars? And you're like, well, I don't know. Oh, you don't know. Like you've never been there. Don't fool us. It's like, no, I didn't even, I don't know the rules. So he's stating that when she said, I don't know if you could drink, that she was doing it intentionally. So he'd be like, oh, you don't know. Like, well, there you go. She just gave it away. She doesn't know. So that's the lie. And then she would have guessed the lie. So you don't know. So there you go. So the truth is you went parasailing. No, I don't know. I don't believe this guy. This guy just looks too much like he cares too much about what people think of him and his reputation. And when you're in front of a camera and in the public eye, you don't want people to know anything bad about you, no matter how minuscule it is. This guy's kind of addicted to lying to make himself look as perfect as possible in front of the camera because he's made money off of doing that. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Paris was like, she knew what she'd been to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, and everybody knows it's like, that's like the Disneyland where you drink wine or something.
Yeah,
they say that people, what's
I
that?
really didn't know that, though.
Oh, really? Well played, Christine. Well played. You get the mark.
Deja's going to spend it with you. Okay, you're playing for $1,000 appliance package from Cuisinart. You have 20 seconds and only one guess. Christine, good luck.
All right, Christine, here we go. On yesterday's show, we talked with Amanda Pete. What room did Amanda say her husband now uses as his office?
Her closet.
Yes.
Correct.
She won the mug, and she won the trip.
I know. Congratulations, Christine. Thanks for playing with us. We'll see you next time.
Have a good
Okay,
day.
stick around for Priyanka.
Still ahead online. We continue Spring is Fun Week with a look at the latest spring fashion trends from Peter Pan and Wendy, Amber Anderson. And coming up next, Priyanka Chopra Jonas.
You're pretty goddamn. Big office. Oh, of course. Oh, come on. What is
Price take 5 years to pay. One day Saturday at the Room Place. You'll love our style. You'll love our prices.
Very excited about this. She packs a punch in her new series, Citadel. Please welcome the gorgeous Priyanka Chopra Jonas.
So good to see you. Well, congratulations. I'm so happy you're here. This is like sitting in your house.
I know.
Great.
Speaking of husbands, how's your husband, Nick Jonas, doing?
Somewhere on tour in some part of the world. I think it was
Oh,
Dallas yesterday, Baltimore. I don't know. I can't
Do you
remember.
know when you guys were first together?
Yes, I
He
remember.
texted me.
Oh, yeah.
He said, you have to meet her. You have to meet the one.
What did you think?
He
Well, he
said
brought
that
her
you were
the one.
Wow.
You know this, right?
Yeah.
He
told us mom
texted
was
us.
like pretty early.
Yeah, and I said,
He wanted
Are
for you
we-
to meet mom and dad.
Mom
yeah, you
and
guys
dad.
Mom and dad.
You were his New York parents
Yes.
at that time.
Yeah.
I felt like that.
no, and it was
You were like
so
practice before my in-laws.
exactly. And then I remember Lola coming up.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And the two of you sitting, and we were grabbing Nick, and I was like, "She's the one. This is your person."
So crazy.
Yeah.
And here we are 5 years later.
5 years later,
Has it been
and
5 years?
It has.
Oh
Since
my
we met.
gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
and you have baby Malta
Yes,
Marie.
yes.
I love her name so much.
It's a great one.
She's
Her name-
gorgeous.
There are moms' names. My mom's middle name is Malti and his mom's middle name is Marie.
They must be over the moon, the grandparents.
The best.
Yeah.
It's so great to have grandparents. I get to do this.
Yeah.
She gets to be with her grandparent. It's a win-win.
Is she with your mom right now?
My mom is on tour with me.
Oh my God. I want to be on tour with your mom. Like, I want your mom to take me.
She and the baby are on
Yeah.
tour with
What
me.
is she up to these days, Malta Marie? What is she?
She's exploring eating everything. This
Good.
girl has the best, most diverse.
shit? Your mom is on tour making sure that your husband doesn't cheat on you. Best way to make sure your husband doesn't cheat on you: send his 1-year-old baby and his mother-in-law with him on tour.
They must be over the. She's
Her name-
gorgeous.
There are moms' names. My mom's middle name is Malti and his mom's middle name is Marie.
They must be over the moon, the grandparents.
The best.
Yeah.
It's so great to have grandparents. I get to do this.
Yeah.
She gets to be with her grandparent. It's a win-win.
Is she with your mom right now?
My mom is on tour with me.
Oh my God. I want to be on tour with your mom. Like, I want your mom to take me.
She and the baby are on
Yeah.
tour with
What
me.
is she up to these days, Malta Marie? What is she?
She's exploring eating everything. This
Good.
girl has the best, most diverse diet.
Yeah.
She went to India.
Explosive diet. Oh, I know what that means.
She's exploring eating everything. This
Good.
girl has the best, most diverse diet.
Yeah.
She
Can I
went to
just say, when you said she's exploring, I heard the expl, and I thought you were going to say she's explosive, and you were going to say she's got the most explosive diet, and I thought you just meant that you are loading her up with that spicy curry and cleaning her out and getting her used to it at an early age.
Be on tour with your mom. Like, I want your mom to take me.
She and the baby are on
Yeah.
tour with
What is
me.
she up to these days, Malta Marie? What is she?
She's exploring eating everything. This
Good.
girl has the best, most diverse diet.
Yeah.
She went to India and she had like 3 paneer in her mouth, paneer in her hand, and going, and anything spicy
Same. I
food.
do the same thing.
Yeah, right? You know, Korean barbecue. She eats pizza, everything. She's
my
like,
gosh.
she loves food.
I want to see her passport.
Yeah, she has stamps.
Oh, I mean, I bet substantial
She has
stamps.
substantial stamps already. It was really cute.
It's really going to be quite, when she looks back, when she gets older and really understands,
Yeah.
she can say, wow, mom and dad took me everywhere.
I traveled with my parents everywhere. My father was in the military, so was my mother.
Yeah.
So we moved around a lot, but they just loved traveling. So we used to pack up the car and just every time we had a weekend, drive somewhere, drive to the hills, just like do stuff. And it was such an adventure and like a bonding moment between us. And that's how we are too. Like we'll always, whichever new city we go to, like we'll figure what's the new thing to do and go explore. It's awesome.
I like that adventurous.
Yeah.
You know, especially with kids because it really like opens them up to everything.
It's so
in the world.
confident
Yeah.
inducing. Like
Yeah,
to me, it made me feel really confident and prepared whenever I traveled because I'd like been to airports and I'd been to different cities and traveled different foods. I was not as nervous.
Yeah.
And I think that was my upbringing.
Yeah. You've got this film coming out on May 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
Called
Love Again.
Love Again. And you work with Nick specifically in a scene.
Yes, thank God.
Can you
tell us
explain this
about
to me?
Thank God it was my husband. So the scene was written originally in the movie. This movie stars Sam Heughan and Celine Dion in her first acting role, by the way, which I'm surprised by.
Yeah.
But the scene was written that this was a bad, like, you know, online date, and this guy eventually, like, I'm like, yeah, take it slow, and he like starts licking my face in slow motion.
Yeah.
And this is during COVID, and they had to cast a random actor to do it. And I was just dreading that. I was like,
COVID or no COVID?
I know.
COVID or no COVID?
I'm not this, I'm okay with no saliva in these situations.
Yeah.
Especially with someone you don't know. But Nick happened to be in London because, you know, I was going to be there for a year and a half. And he was like, I'm going to come in and help you settle down or whatever. So our director, Jim Strauss, was like, well, since Nick is in town and he's an actor, would you mind if we ask? And I was like, yes, I'll do it. I will ask.
Yes, because that is saliva, you know.
When did Nick Jonas become an actor? Because he was in a shitty Disney movie about musicians?
A year and a half, and he was like, I'm going to come in and help you settle down.
Is Kanye West an actor now because he's been in like really shitty documentaries?
Or whatever. So our director, Jim Strauss, was like, well, since Nick is in town and he's an actor, would you mind if we ask? And I was like, yes, I'll do it. I will ask.
Yes, because that is saliva, you know.
Comfortable
That is
saliva.
safe saliva.
At least it's familiar.
Yes, familiar. Exactly. We have to take a commercial break, but when we come back, Priyanka's going to show us the stars she's out shooting her new series, Citadel. Stick around.
Still ahead on Live from the new film Peter Pan and Wendy, Ever Anderson.
You settle down or whatever. So our director, Jim Strauss,
Saliva.
at least it's familiar.
Yes, familiar. Exactly. We have to take a commercial break, but when we come back, Priyanka's going to show us the stars she's out shooting her new series, Citadel. Stick around.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
Hello, Rick.
Mary.
Well, looks like I lost track of time. Ain't that some crazy shit? Well, at least you got one interview. It was the
What's your cutting edge tech? What's your wellness routine look like?
When she talked on the Art of Being Well podcast. I usually
it was what was I saying? Oh, the NBA
if I knew I
playoffs
needed the
were
best.
on, and the NBA playoffs, I guess, either took too long or went into overtime, and it affected the whole scheduling. So when I wanted to watch this, it was I got the delayed version. Oh my god.
molecule with rubber in it.
Saying they're no different than
Jerry Springer died.
Oh,
So
it's like
looks like at least we got one interview in, and it was Priyanka, who I guess
my dad.
people like her.
around a lot, but they just
Oh, look at that! Kind of conveniently ended too. So thanks for watching this shortened version of episode 9, season 1. Kelly and Mark with the girl from Quantico and her non-actor husband. That's what we do. We just start giving credits to producer credits and actor credits to people that don't do those jobs because, well, they're friends, aren't they? So
Look at you.
until next time, make sure to comment and subscribe and like everything. And I will see you next time for episode 10. Until next time, I'm Kelly Consuelos, and my butt is now back on trend. Remember one more thing. I love you.